Hi everyone, this is Miss Susan from the Free Library of Northampton Township. Today we're going to be talking about a penguin STEM experiment. So come to the library to pick up your kit and we are going to talk about penguins today. So it's winter time out there. When we go outside, we are feeling really cold. The only thing worse than feeling really cold is to be wet and cold. Really can't stay warm when you're both wet and cold outside in the winter. But that is what our friend the penguin does. He lives, or she, they live outside where it's cold all year long and they're in and out of the water, so they're always wet. So how do penguins stay dry and how do they not get cold? Well, the thing with the penguin skin is that they have a waxy coating on their skin that protects them. And our experiment today is going to try to recreate a penguin skin. So what we're going to do is color, and I colored this penguin, and make sure we color the penguin really good, even the white part for this experiment. And then when you're done coloring, when you take a finger on the regular paper, it's nice and smooth. And then when you take a finger and feel the penguin with the crayon on it, you'll feel that it's a little waxy. And that is what's going to protect my penguin when it gets wet. You also in your kit are going to have a water spray. I added some water to it, but I also added 1 drop of food coloring. You could use food coloring if you want. You do not have to. This still works without food coloring, but it makes it easier to see what's happening with a little bit of food coloring on the video. So if I spray my water on a regular piece of paper, this is the regular piece of paper. If I spray water on a regular piece of paper, we see that it's going to go right through the paper. It's going to make puddles, right? Lots of puddles. It's going to go right through that paper. But if I spray water on my penguin with the wax from the crayon, let's see what happens. Look at that. You can see that the water beads up and does not go right through the skin of my penguin because the wax of the crayon is protecting it. And that's just how a penguin is protected in the wild. So the second experiment we're going to do, since we have a nice water spray, is to do some tissue paper painting. And what this does, well, it takes all the pigment or color out of tissue paper and we'll put it on a drawing. The first thing you need to do is that small white sheet you have, draw a picture with your white crayon. Now it's really hard to see a white picture with a white crayon on a white piece of paper, but do your best. And this one here, I tried to do a snowman. You see the snowman with a white crayon? Here I tried to do a white snowflake. Do your best to, even if you can just do some lines, make a nice design with your white crayon. And then you're gonna go back and using your water, and here I take all the, I rinsed it out. I don't need the color, the dye any longer, the food coloring. I rinsed it out, and you just want plain water now because you want to see the color of your tissue paper come through. So I'm going to put a little bit of water on my white paper. And this is a good time to make sure that, see, I have this nice protection on my table. If you don't have that, put your drawing on a towel or a paper plate to protect your furniture, your table. So on the white paper that I got a little bit wet, I'm going to put down some of my pieces of tissue paper. And you want to get this kind of wet. See how wet it's becoming. And when it's wet, it really sticks to the paper. So put all of these, put it in a design any way you like. You can overlap, But you don't want to have too much white. You want to really get all the color in here. Keep adding your water because you want this really to be saturated or full of water. Okay, I'm going to keep adding. And you just want it over your picture. I only used part of my paper for my picture, so that's all I'm going to be adding. And keep doing this until my paper is filled of tissue paper. And I try to keep it nice and wet. And when I'm all done, the last thing I'm going to do is add some more water. I'm going to let it dry. With a lot of water like this, it might take an hour or two. So really you want it to really dry so you can get all of this nice color. So we'll be back in an hour and see how it looks. So we actually waited a few hours. We put a lot of water on here, so we wanted to make sure it was very dry. So when we take off the paper, you should be able to just peel it off. You'll see. Look at that pretty picture, and you can kind of see my snowflake with all the nice colors. And what happened was all of the pigment or the color in the tissue paper came out into my picture, and it became even a nicer design. So either you do a snowflake or a snowman. Give this a try, coloring with the white crayon on a paper, putting on tissue paper, getting it all wet with your new spray bottle, and see what art project you can come up with.